Okay, we're live. It is Monday. It is Mapping a Movie Madness with Jack Cole. Hi, baby doll.
Hello.
You like that Mapping Movie Madness?
Yes, indeed. Good. Just checking our levels. Sounds like we're all good from an audience perspective. All right.
Excellent. I'm gonna warm up. I'm just gonna warm up, and I'm gonna be coloring buildings or something right here, I think.
Sounds good. As always, I like sending out the link for the stream that you're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
We have a Mr. Wright in the channel, a wild Mr. Wright. In my Discord and in my stream, all in one day. I am honored, sir. And we have Pex whooshing in, but under my name. So Alyssa Fade just whooshed into the channel.
And Pex fixed it. Pex and Chuck both whooshing in. Hello, guys.
Hey guys, it's good to see you. I don't think I've said this before. No, I have said this before, but I'm gonna repeat it. Jack and I obviously have day jobs. Our end time is literally almost right before the stream. So sometimes we literally get off work and we're But you, I have to be honest with you, personally, re-galvanize me. You just get me going, you know? So I really appreciate it.
You've got a good audience and people that like interacting with each other and the channel and with you, and so it's definitely understandable that you get that little bit of a pep from that.
It's like having a hard day gaming, although like nothing like a hard day gaming, but you know what I mean. But you're exhausted and you kind of just want to go back to the hotel room. But you bump into some friends, so you sit down, start chatting with them, and before you know it, you're there until the wee early hours of the morning. They just friends just re-energize me. Hey GL, good to see you. So what I'm going to do tonight, everyone, is I'm going to try and actually finish the map right up next to me here. And then I'm going to move on to the Crac de Chevalier castle map, which I've got some really good ideas percolating in my head. So, but there's still stuff on this particular map to do that I want to get finished. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do this. And Jack is going to issue spoilers for WandaVision.
No spoilers. Even though people do say that the Monday after a show is going to be it's good to talk about it on social media, but I say wait at least a little while. But
yeah, I don't know when the acceptable cutoff is, but when you're talking about something like a month later and people are still going whoa spoilers, I think at that point you've done the due diligence. And if someone hasn't watched it for a month, they can't honestly expect everyone to keep their freaking claps shut, It's not fair at that point. It's not realistic.
And, while some people obviously may not have the financial means to go to rent a movie or see a movie or what have you, you'd think in a month's time, if you were that hardcore about something, you would make efforts to either see it or maybe go halvesies on renting it with some friends and doing like a stream party. I mean, that's something that you can do on Amazon. Like you can rent a movie and then I think it's Amazon, and then you can host like a stream party and like you can like give people a link so you can all watch a movie. So like if you rented a movie for like $20 with like 10 friends, that's $2 each. You guys can do that. AEIOUNY says, I love the trees just bloop into greenness. It's like spring happens in fast forward.
Yeah, I appreciate that actually. I love colouring the trees, and I do like the fact that, you take just a regular sort of colouring like that, and you give it like a little bit of highlighting on there. Something like this, something like that. Even really, really quickly, and it just transforms the damn thing.
There's some joking about Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope spoilers. That was I once saw a T-shirt that actually had a bunch of movie spoilers on it. It was like the image was a whole bunch of like either lines from films or that type of thing. Like it was like a whole smorgasbord of major movie spoilers, like all in one big image. It was kind of funny, but they were all films that were at least 10 years old, kind of a thing. So it's like you said, if somebody ever got mad, I always remember there was a comic about that actually, where there was like a couple leaving the theater after like Titanic came out, and like the husband and wife were talking about how well they made the boat crash and sinking look so realistic, and someone in the line was going, "Oi, spoilers!" It's like, wait a minute, if it's a film based on something that actually happened, how is that spoiling something?
Yeah, if the Titanic didn't sink in this one, okay, then let's talk.
Like the movie Lincoln, and he's gonna go to the theater at the end of the movie. How do you think the movie's gonna end, everybody? When him and his wife go to the theater, it's like, that's where they're wrapping up this movie. Okay, cool.
And we've got Peck spoiling things for CA right now in the channel. Of course we do.
Yes, indeed. That was the Star Wars one I was referencing. Let's see. Chuck says, gives the trees nice depth. I think I'm referring to what you were talking about before with the trees and the coloring.
I never want to color another one of these freaking maps again in a long time. I'm going to be happy to get back into some ink work here shortly.
And it is funny that I do recall when you were inking. Is that what you call when you're doing the lines of the city, the drawing of the city?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to double check your terminology. It was funny when you were drawing the maps. When you were drawing them, you were like, "Oh, it's going to be so exciting to get into some color on these. This is going to be great. I've got a lot of good ideas of this." And now on the flip side, you're like, "Okay, I'm done with color. Let's get back to the ink work." It's like it's kind of this funny little leapfrog that they do. You do so much of one that you want to get to the other, then you do so much of that one you want to go back to the initial one.
I need to work on staggering my projects a little bit better, so I'm not at the same stage at the same time with two different projects.
Right, because you're Necropolis, you're on the coloring stage as well.
Yeah, Necropolis is on the coloring stage. I do have the Viking map, which I've not really shown off too much outside of my Discord and Patreon. But that Viking map is going to be kick-ass, but that's going to be into coloring very shortly as well.
Right. There's always that Patreon exclusive map that you're working on. I don't know if you set those on specific days or if they're live events. I don't know how that works.
What are you talking about, Rome or something else?
Yeah, that one.
You're not allowed to say the words Rome, It's permitted.
It is the one that got taken over a lot. That place.
Oh, I see what we're doing.
Got sacked a few times, I hear. I like just a bunch of smelly barbarians too. What the heck, man? You think they'd be a little bit more, on it? Keep those dirty barbarians out. Just saying.
Is that what we're doing? We're doing a roast of Rome.
The roast of Rome. Oh, see, double pun there too. Haha, good job on that one. Let's see. Peck says Rome March 13th morning 10 a.m. Say what?
Oh,
when
I next draw Rome.
Ah, nice. Rome March. Princess Strega redeems princess. Hooray! I don't know what that one does, but
it plays
cool.
music. Plays nice
nice
music. Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't have.
It's the big entrance.
Nice. And I saw was that She-Ra? Was that the image that came up on the princess alert? I think it was She-Ra.
So Jack and I watched, or partly watched last night. Jack, is it called Space Dusters, Space Cleaners, Dust Cleaners,
It was
Vacuum Cleaners,
Space Sweepers,
Space Sweepers? Give me your opinion, Jack. Now we're 3/4 of the way through.
Right. It's unbeknownst to us, it was a 2.5-hour movie, and we're about an hour and a half in. And we were like, "Wowzers! It feels really long." That is one thing. It feels really long, and it is. We won't go into like full premise and all that kind of jazz, but it feels uneven in its tone. You can have a sci-fi that's a comedy. You can have a sci-fi that's a drama, and those comedy and drama sci-fis can have action in it. That's fine, but it seemed to waffle back and forth between whether it wanted to be a comedy or a drama. And the comedy it did okay, and the drama it did not do very well. So it was like waffling between an okay science fiction comedy action movie to a bad drama sci-fi action movie. So I'm okay with it. Currently, right now, it's sitting at a 5 out of 10 for me on my own personal scale, which I know technically, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is a rotten score because you need to at least have a 6 out of 10. But I haven't really thought about it too much today, just because I was bogged down with work and we haven't finished it. So I need to, obviously see the rest of it before I can give it its final thing. But yeah, right now 5 out of 10. The acting's is fine. It's a goofy Korean action comedy movie. So I was kind of expecting that type of silly kind of humor, which is fine. But the fact that it tries to be serious and heart-wrenching at times and it just fails. And then not only that, we had a bunch of character reveals, where we stopped at about the hour and a half mark, where it's you basically, the bad guys are pulling up the files on all the main characters that you've met. And it was one of those things where, imagine you're playing at a convention and the players sit down at the table and they have a bunch of pre-gen characters, and they didn't read the backstories of the characters. They just decided to create their own personalities for the characters, and all the characters are fine. But then the GM points out that, you're being the goofy comedian engineer who gets all blustered and serious, but he's a guy with a heart of gold. He's really a big softie. You find out he was this crazy hardcore crime boss that was in charge of his own wing of the mafia, and you're oh, not that guy. Those are two different people you're talking about right now. And so there was really some inconsistencies with
it's almost like they're partway through the actual game, to use your analogy. The GM, literally 3 hours in a 4-hour game, the GM says, okay, read your character backgrounds out now.
Right.
And they just did not align with everything that you've just seen in the movie.
Right. The goofy, incompetent protagonist who's a badass pilot, but he's super clumsy and he gets really excited about stupid things. You find out he was one of the most elite, soldiers. He was the captain of the elite, death squad for the soldiers of the company. And you're goofy and incompetent guy who stumbles around all over the place, and he was almost the comic relief, even though he's the main character. He was badass super assassin soldier? What? It's no, he wasn't. That is a completely different character.
I actually wondered, honestly, if the bad guy was doing a propaganda thing and was putting that shit out. Or if it was genuine, Coden, by the way, in the channel, enjoyed it. And
cool.
Jack and I are partway through, and we stopped at the 1.5 hour mark. And we're undecided right now. I mean, we've got to finish the damn thing, and there's a full hour to go.
Right. Yeah, I actually was enjoying each of the characters. I actually like the whole crew. I actually like... And I like that how you could actually see that there were these other, let's call them, because the name of the movie is Space Sweepers. I like that there were all these different competing space sweeper crews that so when this big piece of salvage comes flying into the system, they all kind of go for it. And they're the notorious ones for being the best, and so they always go for it first, and all the other ones will kind of gang up on them to try to get the salvage first. I'm okay with that. And then the main crew themselves were kind of cool. I was actually starting to kind of dig them. But then they start throwing in these backstories that make no sense with the character that we're being shown. that it's like that's what started to make me kind of go, really? I don't know. And like the big bad guy being like farmer vegan from hell makes me go, is there some weird agenda going on here? It's like the screenwriter's trying to say something about bioengineering, food and crops and stuff, like in the real world. I don't know.
Princess, I could probably count on one hand the number of films that I have given up on or walked out of. And I think I've actually only walked out of one film in my entire life. Typically, Jack and I will sit down and watch something through. This was just a 2.5 hour movie when we were expecting an hour and a half. Neither one of us checked beforehand, and it was getting late at night.
Yeah, it was late at night. We had a long day yesterday, and it was one of those, we totally didn't check the runtime. We were thinking it was going to be like 90 to 100 minutes, and when we paused it, it was like we were like an hour 45, because it actually is a long movie. We were like an hour 45 in, and I paused it, and I looked, and I was like, holy crap, we still have an hour left of this movie. It was like, holy scamoli, this is long. I didn't even didn't even twig to check.
And yeah, I have fallen asleep during more movies than I have ever naturally stopped watching, and I was going to fall asleep last night. That was a cert.
It is, and I'm with Alyssa actually on that, Princess. I too have never, and I don't actually think I've ever walked out on a movie at a theater. And as far as like stopping a movie because I was like either bothered by it or it annoyed me or if it was stupid, for a first time run, off the top of my head, I don't think I've ever not finished a movie, even if it was one I wasn't necessarily enjoying. I don't think. Nothing's coming up off the top of my head. And usually if I ever fall asleep, I always try to find a way to finish it. Chuck says, The Good, the Bad, and the Weird is a wonderful film. I've heard that's great. I actually haven't seen it. I've heard it's really good. That's by the same guys that did like Kung Fu Hustle, right? Kodoken says, Space Sweepers is not for everyone. I'm not even sure how to describe who in particular it would be for, but yeah, South Korea's first big stab at a major blockbuster. It might be why I enjoyed it. I'm not sure.
Do you know one thing that I think bothered me about it, and we spoke about it beforehand, Jack, because we weren't sure how they were going to approach it? I think it was dubbed.
Yes.
And I think I would have preferred it not to be.
Yeah, it was dubbed in English. There's subtitles for when the German characters are speaking German. But yeah, people that are speaking English speak English, and people that are speaking Korean speak English. And it's a little weird because even at one point, like somebody like is saying something, and like one of the characters goes like, "Oh, I didn't know you spoke Korean," as they're all speaking in English to each other, and it was kind of like, well, wait a minute, what? So yeah, I would have preferred that, and I'm sure the original version. Well, I say the original version. I think it was put out by Netflix, and that's the only version that's out there. But yeah, I prefer movies to be in their original language with subtitles myself. Peck says, I'll start heckling a film, not giving a damn if a movie is notoriously bad, regardless of who's around, but I don't think I've walked out on a film or movie. And then The Good and the Bad, the Weird is a homage to The Good and the Bad, the Ugly, obviously, just because of the name, but it's not a remake. Okay, cool. Yeah, Strega, obviously we've been talking about it. Yeah, it's not subtitled, it's dubbed, sadly. Yeah, and Netflix is one of those ones where I never seem to be able to find the subtitle option.
Oh, really? There's an
And
option to switch it.
that's the thing. I don't know if there is, because if there is, I've never been able to find it. I once was able to find adding subtitles, but it kept the thing still dubbed, and then just had subtitles. And I was like, well, that doesn't help. I want the thing in the original language with English subtitles. What the heck?
Yeah, Princess, English subtitles, of course. I can't speak Korean.
Right. And yet, having French subtitles, I'd be confused. I would be like, well, what am I reading? I don't understand.
That was like when I was actually playing Cyberpunk, and I actually don't like having subtitles on, which is always one of those sound options that games offer. And I didn't want that. I want to listen to the characters speak, but I didn't know that, like, at least half the game is actually in another language. You got a lot of Japanese people talking to each other. You got Spanish getting thrown in. I don't talk any other bloody languages. So I'm sitting there watching this major cutscene going on, and all of this dialogue is happening between Japanese characters, and I'm sitting there freaking clueless what they're saying to each other.
Right. Because at least when you do have the subtitles, the game actually does a really clever thing where they actually have your character actually has a translation thing uploaded into their cyberware. And so, like, the first time you hear a language, you actually see it. The subtitles, when you do have subtitles on, it actually is in the original language, and then it dissolves away, and then suddenly you see it in English. It's like your translation software kicks in. But in the parts where there's characters that are speaking in Japanese to each other, it doesn't like translate it into English, so you listening are suddenly hearing them speak in English. It's just like, oh, you don't have subtitles turned on? Guess you're just going to be confused when these two characters are talking to each other in Japanese, and you're like, wait, what the heck is happening?
Yeah, I was so freaking confused on that one.
Ooh, Skeeter's here. I see you crazy kids. Drop by again later. All right, Skeet.
See, Skeet, he only came because of you, Jack.
Hello.
Because I told him that Mondays was Jack night.
Mondays or Jack night.
He didn't even know I streamed on a freaking Monday night. And next minute he's turning up because I say Jack turns up. Yeah. Talk about obvious.
Hello. That tech is new. It's not too far away from being real. Yeah, exactly. With all of our auto translate stuff that's going on in the world, I mean, it's we're so there. We're gonna have babblefish in our ears here pretty soon. But that's like when Alyssa and I went to Bulgaria a couple years ago, and I got ill. She went to the doctors and just typed in her Google symptoms and was like translate, and like held it up to the lady behind the counter, and the lady was like, oh yeah, cool, I know those symptoms, here, have him take these, he'll feel better. And it was like, great. And then when I got the box of tablets or whatever, when she brought them back, I just took a picture of the instructions that were in Bulgarian, and I was like, Google Translate. I was like, translate this line, just from my phone, and it was like I was able to read, like, take, basically the use instructions, take 2 tablets every 4 hours, kind of a thing. It was great. Oh, yay me! See, here you go. Princess Dragon says, Jack is why I come on Monday night streams.
Oh, come on!
Oh, Okoto Ken's got a bounce too.
All right, okay, see you. Go then. Wow, I butchered that. Holy heck! I'm just gonna shut up. Night.
But he did say before he left, had to leave. He says, I almost left the theater during Batman and Robin. I thought it was bad, and then I saw how they were going to portray Bane, and I had had enough. My girlfriend at the time sat on me to keep me from leaving.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, that movie is pretty horrible, and they treated they treated Mr. Freeze terrible too with Arnold. That is not how Mr. Freeze is in the comics either. So they did both Kane and Mr. Freeze. I actually am not familiar with Poison Ivy. I can't imagine Uma Thurman's hamming it up for the cameras really did it. Strega, you are on a You were on a lonely island there on the loving the Batman and Robin train. Sorry, my dear. I think you are the only person I've ever heard say that they liked that movie. But you're right. Different strokes for different folks. Exactly. Ooh, Chuck says, I went to the opening night of Cyborg and refused to leave because I was fascinated by the train wreck that was unfolding. I got introduced, so I hadn't seen a lot of Van Damme films, and Alyssa was introducing me to some of them. Cyborg was one that I'd always heard about, but had never seen. So we watched it. Holy crap, was that movie bad. Oh my god, it was so bad.
Now, I went to the cinema to watch that because I was a big Van Damme fangirl. And I couldn't also believe the train wreck that I was watching because I didn't want to believe it. This is after Bloodsport, this is after Kickboxer, and now I'm watching this. Now, I refuse to accept reality on that one.
Yeah.
And it was worse than I remember it when I showed it to Jack. That is not a good movie.
It was definitely silly. Definitely silly. It's one of those things where I wanted to go, hey, Phantom Jen, hello.
Hello, Jen. Shadows.
It is one of those movies that was Cyborg. It's like, I wanted to know, so what, there had to have been an original script that everybody read and was like, this is going to be a cool story. This is interesting. And it's like either through rewrites or reshoots or budget cuts or whatever, the movie that came out was the Cyborg we got. And I just don't know.
I know. I think they did bad movies back in the day. Well, they do nowadays too. But they did bad movies back in the day without, I think, realizing just how bad they were.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, come on. They get what was the guy's name? The bad guy. I forget his name now.
In Cyborg?
Yeah, the fact that they pulled this guy off a surf beach with no acting experience or anything, and they put him in this, and he spends most of the bloody fight just shouting, "Mala, Afa, that wah, wah." That's just terrible. Everything right there.
Yeah, and it was literally, I pulled him up. His name was Vincent Klyn. I think that's how you pronounce it, Klyn. He was a surfer. The actor saw him, thought he looked intimidating and scary, and was like, hey, do you want to be the villain in my new movie that I'm doing? And he was like, sure. And he had never acted before. It was his first thing. And there you go. And it was like, oh, yeah, so he's buff, and he looks intimidating, but he clearly has never acted. And the fact that they tried to do practical stunts and stuff with them and actual fighting choreography, it was like, one of these people does not know what they're doing. Pex is dunking on Time Cop. Wait a minute, Time Cop was worse. No, it was not. Time Cop is amazing. Well, okay, Time Cop's a good one.
I'm not sure Time Cop is.
It's certainly better than Cyborg.
Yeah, it's infinitely better than Cyborg.
Oh, and Straga's coming in to defend it too. She says, okay, wait a minute. Time Cop is my your third favorite time travel movie after Looper and Back to the Future. Interesting. Okay. I might have Time Cop on a top 10, maybe. I think it might be number 10 for me if I was gonna do time travel movies. I guess the question is am I allowed to put all of the Back to the Futures as one listing, or do I have to do them individually? They don't do enough time travel movies.
No, they don't.
They need to do more.
Name your favorites. Any order.
I am writing them out right now. Yeah, so if I don't have to do them in order, that's actually great. So I've got like what Straga's put down. I've got Looper and Back to the Future. I've got Time After Time. I've got Predestination, which is probably my favorite. I've got Avengers Endgame. I've got Primer.
Have you got Somewhere in Time?
Somewhere in Time, definitely, and that would probably even be in my top 5 as well. Somewhere in Time is great. When I was younger, I think I held Somewhere in Time as like my favorite romantic movie like ever. I loved that movie when I was younger. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I would do. Your Name is kind of time travel. It's a body swap movie, and you find out, I don't want to spoil it, but you find out as the film progresses that the two characters, not only are they body swapping, but they're actually at different points in time as well. So not only is it just a body swap movie, it's a time travel movie in a weird way as well. The Terminators, if those are considered time travel movies because of the, obviously the time traveling that some of the main characters do. That's, I would do Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. Pex comes in. Terminator, Primer, Bill and Ted, Back to the Future, Looper, Star Trek. Oh yeah, the 2009 Star Trek could be time travel. Yeah. Oh, and you know what? Actually, and not only that, First Contact, the one with the Borg, the Next Generation crew. That's a great one. 12 Monkeys. Yeah, there you go. That would be on my list. The original Planet of the Apes. Yeah. Is Groundhog Day time travel? That's a repeat day. Is that considered time travel? That's a question. If that's considered time travel, then Edge of Tomorrow would be on there for me.
Oh, Edge of Tomorrow. Well, yeah, why would that one not be permitted?
Right, and that's my thing. Is like if Groundhog Day is permitted because because you're repeating the same day. If that's considered time travel, then Edge of Tomorrow would be considered time travel. But I don't think it is. Because it's kind of like Strega was saying, my choice of Your Name would be considered a time warp. I would almost say that a Groundhog Day would be a time warp as well. But I don't know. I think everybody would have different definitions. We'd have to figure out if there's a definition for what would be considered a time travel movie or not. There's the movie based on the Michael Crichton book Timeline called Timeline. I personally wasn't a fan of the movie, even though I loved the book. There was the French film The Visitors with Jean Reno. I was a big fan of that. Actually, yeah, now that I'm looking at movies, Time Cop's not in my top 10, unfortunately. Interstellar could be considered time travel, according to this.
Huh, Interstellar. Okay.
But see, and that's almost like a time warp thing as well. It's almost like a time. See, and I don't like I don't like the term time warp. I would almost say a time fluctuation. Right? Even though I think at the end of Interstellar, I think he is trying to go back in time. So I think maybe that is a time travel movie. I don't know. Deadpool 2, time travel? Yes. There you go. Because Cable travels through time, and then Deadpool's able to do it at the end of the movie.
Pex is saying Arrival.
Yeah, and again, I think that qualifies into that category of time. Something is happening. I don't know if that's time travel though. Again, I don't know if it's time travel because everything is happening. Yeah, I don't know if it's travel. If you watch Arrival, there's nobody travels through the flow of time. So Strega says her definition of time travel is the breaking the flow of time to exit at one point and re-enter at another point. Army of Darkness would be considered time travel. Yeah. Yeah, if we're using the definition as time travel, is you are disconnecting from your current flow of time. You're exiting your flow of time, and you're using something to re-enter back into the timeline or a timeline at another point in time. That would be considered time travel. Yeah, predestination is amazing. Minority Report's not time travel. Minority Report's not time travel.
No, I think she's referring to the fact that they're predicting what I guess people are thinking or a possible future, right?
Right, but they don't actually travel.
By your own definition, Princess, that would not be.
Oh yeah, and it was Pex that actually came in.
Oh, it's Pex. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad, Princess. Sorry.
Yeah, the hot tub time machines are films. That's true. Yeah, psychic powers that allow you to see into the future and then you can change events. That's not time travel. That's you fucking with time or fucking with the future, fucking with fate. Minority Report, fucking with fate.
And it was a good film.
It was. It was. But you see, messing with time is not time travel, and they're messing with destiny or messing with fate is not time travel. We're not talking about, if we're talking about movies where you mess with fate, that's different.
And I think if we were gonna say, I think there has to be some kind of movement through time, right, by someone versus predicting things.
I will have to agree to disagree with you, Pex.
Why, what's Pex doing now?
Well, he just says that because it affects the timeline, he's saying that it should count as a time travel movie. I think you're missing the word travel in there. Terminator 2 is different because there's literally someone from a future timeline that goes back in time to then change things. The people that have the psychic visions of the future don't live in the future, and they themselves don't exit that timeline to come back. You wouldn't say a gypsy woman who is reading a tarot card reading to see her future. You're not saying she's a time traveler, right? Would you? Anytime you get a tarot reading, are you traveling through time? I mean, technically, we're all traveling through time.
What was that one, Jack, that was on a train that we watched recently? And like the train crashes or something, or there's a bomb on it, and he has to figure out what's going on.
Source Code. Right? With Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is Source Code a time travel movie then?
I know the movie's been out a while, so with spoilers, I would say kind of. I think so. Because someone from a different point in time is able to go into the past and change things. Well, see, and there's, again, Pex, predicting the future and seeing possibilities and changing the path that you're on isn't time travel. That's not how it is. If you see now in Avengers Endgame, where they literally travel to the past, to another point in time, yeah, I think that's what we're saying. I think time travel movies, there has to be a traveling through time. I think that's literally in the name of the category. But like in Avengers Endgame, they literally travel out of the past. They uproot and physically travel to another location to change things. Which then goes into the argument, did they actually change things, or did this happen regardless? Yeah, if you don't travel, if you don't travel, it's a time viewing movie. Yes, Minority Report, time viewing movie. Yes, I'm not trying to say that you cannot achieve time travel through a psychic power, Strega, like in Somewhere in Time. Even though I don't know if that's a power, it's more like he had a psychic will.
Will for sure. Yeah.
Psychic will. He rolled 3 20s in a row on that wisdom check. Pex, that is the lake house. So Pex says, then what about the one where Sandra Bullock puts the letter in the mailbox and she's writing someone in the past? Is this time travel? That's the lake house with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. I think that is a romantic drama.
That's a time viewing, right?
With hints at time warping, because if you watch the film, nobody travels in time aside from the letters. And I don't know if the letters would be there because they're not a character. Like they didn't climb into the mailbox and then suddenly they're in the past, kind of a thing. Time Traveler's wife. Oh, is that Wargaming? Hello, was that you asking if that was the movie that Pex was referring to?
Wargaming, sorry for your loss, my friend, truly. You're not obliged to talk or anything, just chill, you're with friends. Well, I'm your friend. I'm not sure about Pex. He'll pretend to be a friend.
But yeah, the lake house, that's the one that you were talking about. Strega says, Pex is a nozzle, but we love him anyways.
He very much is a nozzle, and we very much love him.
And Pex is over here. I'm going over here with my little friend Quantum Leap, and I'll be happy. I think Quantum Leap would be considered time travel.
Oh, Quantum Leap 100% has got to be time travel, yes. I think we were talking kind of movies, but Quantum Leap is there. I heard they were considering rebooting that, or redoing it, or picking it up again.
Well, see, that would be fun. Frequency is, yeah, that's interesting because frequency is. Anyways, hold on. We'll get to frequency in a second. Quantum Leap. That's what I was looking up because if they're remaking or rebooting or even continuing Quantum Leap, because then you could have cameos from people. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be sadly disappointed here shortly, but that's what I heard, which means nothing in this day and age.
What are you talking about? Quantum Leap is a movie. Quantum Leap is a film. It's not a film. It's a TV show. What you talking about, Willis?
Was there a film version of it as well? There might have been a film that I'm not aware of.
According to this, there was a show and some books and some comics. Oh, Chuck says, the Quantum Leap ending is my least favorite series finale. Oh.
No spoilers.
So, possible continuation. This is what the wiki says. Occasional announcements of plans to revisit or restart the series have been made. back in July of 2002, Jesus Christ, almost 20 years ago,
Okay.
Sci-Fi Channel announced its development of a 2-hour TV film based on Quantum Leap, which it was airing the reruns at the time, which would have served as a backdoor pilot for a possible new series. But it doesn't seem like it was ever made. In a TV Guide panel at the 2010 San Diego Comic-Con International, Scott Bakula said that the executive producer was working on a script for a projected Quantum Leap feature film. In October of 2017, the producer confirmed at LA Comic-Con that he had finished the script. Good Lord, he writes as slow as I do. Took him 7 years to finish that script. Whew. NBC has also stated that they've considered a potential reboot. So that's it. So last we've heard, back in October of 2017, the head cheese guy was like...
Oh, that's 3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah. Peck says, he thinks it's the first part of the... It was the first 2-part episode TV movie. But he must be remembering it's been ages. Yeah.
I never watched Sliders, Chuck. That's all.
I watched, I think, the first season. I really dug it. I really dug that there's like this group of people that are accidentally got shifted to alternate dimensions and they just want to get back to their dimension. And they keep going into these weird ass alternate realities of Earth, and some of them were like pretty messed up. Well, I guess most of them were pretty messed up. That created the conflict of the show. Is every episode they need to figure out how the hell to get out of their current weird ass dimension.
So it was very much Quantum Leap like.
Yeah. In some episodes, they find that like their alternate versions were like bad guys or good guys or different personalities than what they currently were, or sometimes they would go into one where like they didn't exist in this world and nobody knows them, or knows of them. Jen, I write pretty dang slow. I mean, I don't write that slow when it comes to like, doing like character write-ups, but good Lord, if I ever tried to write a novel or a screenplay or just me trying to write if I was actually going to sit down and write like a role-playing adventure, actually write it, oh my God, it would take me about 7 years. Yeah, probably. Hey, Midwest miniature
Whoa,
guy.
Studio Dog Gabby is raiding with a huge group. Oh, shit, and I just made a mistake.
Oh, no.
Wow, thank you for the raid. This is Movie Mapping Madness Monday, which we've been doing for a short while now. This is my husband Jack with me.
Hello.
We're talking movies and such while I map. And I'm going to zoom out of this so you can see what the dickens I've been working on right here.
Tonight's current topic apparently is favorite time travel movies. So any of you that have just joined us, in addition to asking questions about Alyssa's wonderful maps, feel free to throw in the chat some of your favorite time travel movies.
While everyone's doing that, this is a series of 12 maps for Troll Lord Games. It is for the Castle Keeper's Guide, which is the equivalent of the Dungeon Master's Guide. This is their second or third iteration of doing this particular book. There's a section in the book where they're talking about different settlement types and fortification types, with write-ups about each one. So they asked me to do 12 maps, and I decided to do them on one canvas because I wanted to see if my machine could handle it, and because this would make an incredible poster when it's done, and it's got a background on it. So I'm currently, we're finished. I'm going to go through them. Thorpe, Hamlet, Village, a block tower, Martin Bailey. I need to touch that one up a little bit. It's too green. Martin Bailey, marching camp, complete with little legions, a regular castle based upon Harlech Castle in real life, and then we've got a town. Let me see if I can remember this. City, fortified city, I'm currently finishing up on the Metropolis, which is actually coming out pretty good. I'm okay with this. Metropolis. And then we've got the Greater Castle, which is based upon Crafty Chevalier. I'm butchering the pronunciation, I'm sure. A Crusader Castle, which is just super sexy to look at. So I'm hopefully going to start covering that tonight. So this is what we've been working on. Lots and lots and lots of mapping goodness. So Studio Dog actually says love Tenant, and we haven't watched Tenant yet.
Yeah, Novakovian consistency is a big deal in my enjoyment of a time travel fiction. I'm down with that. Yeah, it's on our list. I've heard it's really great. Pex is linking in the wiki entry for time travel movies because we know how accurate wiki is.
Pex is not going to let this go, is he?
It depends. I think he's trying to make his argument. I bet you if Minority Report is in here or if Doctor Strange is in here, he's going to be going, aha, told ya. Going back up a little bit, Strega says, Sliders is my all-time favorite TV show. Not accidental, they had to activate the timer early that caused them to need to slide to find home. Okay. Studio Dog says it was very pretty, and he hates to raid and run, but he's gonna have to go into lurk mode while he goes grab some gnomes.
Yeah, go raid and run, man. It's all good, so good. I just appreciate you bringing in such a crowd. Very much appreciated. And for those people that have bounced in, I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night around the same time, 5:30 Pacific time, for about an hour and a half. Feel free to hit me up with a follow. It costs not one dime, right? Maybe just check out what we're working on. I work on different projects throughout the week. We're also working on Necropolis for Frog God Games. That one's getting really close to being complete. I'm working on a Viking-style map of Europe at 1000 AD, but as if a monk had drawn it for the Vikings, and so it's going to be heavily illuminated. It's going to be a very pretty map. I'm actually going to start working on that one on the channel here shortly. That would be nice. And then we're going to start drawing the largest city map I have ever drawn. Rome, that currently in progress, to one side. I have a client who wants a freaking huge ancient city map, so that's going to be a blast.
Nice.
That probably gets us out towards the end of the year with that city. Oh, and actually, okay, so you know we were talking the other day about maps I would love to do, and Jack, you asked me, and I said that I would love to actually work on a Drow map, or let's call it Dark Elves map, because I'd love to actually have an excuse to do like a kind of isometric city map for them.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get asked to do one. I have been asked to do one towards the end of this year.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's
going to be interesting, yeah.
That literally, the fact that it even is going through, that's great. You know, we need to talk about more maps you want to do, and there you go. They'll come in. And let's see, because, and it does say Peck says frequency is totally a time travel movie, and it also is on this list on the wiki page, but I think I'm with Strega that if it's a time talk movie, because I don't know, nobody travels through time in that movie. There's time changing, time alteration, because when he talks to his father in the past, he's able to change the course of time. But aside from that, I don't think there's actually any time traveling happening. It's kind of like the Lake House. The only thing that's traveling through time is the letters. And like with frequency, their voices over the radio, but nobody actually travels through time aside from the voice. So I personally myself, I don't think that qualifies as time travel. And with Strega, it's time talk, time talking,
time talk,
time talk. Welcome to our new show, Time Talk.
Hey, Midwest Miniatures is here.
Yeah, he says Time Bandits, Back to the Future trilogy, and Timeline. Those are good ones. I was a little sad with Timeline only because they didn't have the biggest budget. And like when like there's the big siege of the castle near the end of the film, they didn't have a lot of extras and they didn't have CGI to make it look like there was a big army. So it was kind of sad. They had like 100 people maybe at most, maybe like attacking a castle, maybe 50, 75 people. So it was a little like, oh, they're pretty sure the castle's gonna hold out. That's not a really big army attacking them. It's Chuck bringing in the show Trancers. I've never even heard of Trancers. Trancers. Oh, and Strega saying, speaking of early HBO, Tales from the Crypt. Okay.
But we're not saying that Tales from the Crypt is time.
No.
Right?
She was just saying that if we're talking about
Okay.
HBO shows that she liked the Tales from the Crypt. But yeah, but Trancers, I'll have to look up. I'll have to look up Trancers.
I've actually not seen any Tales from the Crypt either.
I've only seen a few and far between. I've seen yeah, I was gonna say I thought I'd seen maybe something because they came out with 2 like Tales from the Crypt movies, but I was thinking about them and like Demon Knight and Bordello of Blood. I don't think I've actually seen either of them. So I was gonna say I've seen the movies, and then I was like, wait a minute, no, I haven't. I haven't seen either of them.
I mean, I'm familiar with the character, but literally that's it.
Yeah, the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, Trancers was good.
That's gotta be like when it was at its height here in the States. I was in England, and I'm pretty sure it didn't get to England when I was there. And if it did, it just didn't get on my horizon.
All right, Trancers. Jack Death is a cop in the 23rd century who travels back in time to 1984 to attempt to stop the creation of Trancers, an army of zombie-like humans, for the first 3 movies. In movies 4 and 5, Death is transported to a parallel world, the land of Orpheus, to continue the fight against the Trancers. Wow, there's 6 of these freaking movies. Holy scamoly.
What era was that?
This is looks like the 80s and early 90s. So the first Trancers came out in 84. Trancers 2 came out in 91, 3 in 92, and then Trancers 4 was 94, and then Trancers 5 was also in 94. Okay.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I'd heard the name, but I never knew the premise. Okay. And it spawned, so the series has spawned the 6 feature films, 1 short film, and 2 comic book series. Wow.
Hey, Brian. Happy Monday to you, my friend.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Chuck, you say on the time travel series, if you want to watch time travel, if you haven't seen Dark on Netflix, Alyssa and I started Dark. I think we got 2 or 3 episodes in, and we saw that it was starting to get time travel-y and weird, and we were like, what the heck? And then we got like distracted by something else, and we stopped watching it. But that's one that I've been wanting to go back to for sure.
And we'd have to start from scratch. I assume.
Yes. Yeah, because even now, like I'm having trouble recalling. I remember like a boy goes missing, like in the beginning. He's like the younger brother of one of the main characters or something. Pex is saying, box office, my gift to you, Time Cop 2, the Berlin decision. Oh, that sounds like that's gonna be bad. Looks like you gotta redeem time.
Well, as a time check, I didn't even hear that one happen. We're only an hour in. We're still going for half an hour yet, at least. I am going to finish this map tonight, and I would like to start doing the castle. I am determined.
Impossible.
Oh,
2003, Time Cop 2, the Berlin decision.
Now, has it got Van Damme in it or not? I assume not.
No, it does not. It is got someone by the name of Jason Scott Lee in the starring role.
That name seems familiar.
He was the guy who did. He played Bruce Lee in the '93 film Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Okay.
He was. Let's see, looking this up real quick. He was in the live-action Jungle Book from '94, where he played Mowgli. He was in. He did one of the voices for one of the characters in Lilo and Stitch. So he's a character actor. Hasn't been in a ton of stuff.
He was in Time Cop 2.
He was the lead in Time Cop 2. And the villain is the villain in Time Cop 2 is Thomas Ian Smith, who was the guy who played the he plays the villain in Karate Kid 3.
Oh, I know him.
He has the slick back black hair. That guy.
Yeah.
He's the villain in Time Cop 2. And spoilers, might be in an upcoming Cobra Kai.
Oh, they're gonna. They're just gonna. They're bringing back everyone.
Oh,
they're all coming back.
You know they are. The only one that I'm gonna have pause and go, wait a minute, is if they miraculously bring in Hilary Swank out of nowhere. I'm gonna be going, I have questions. I mean, she's in the continuity, but of all things, that's not a movie we need to go back to.
Agreed. Peck says, don't watch Time Cop 2. It's a meme. I'm not opposed to the idea of something like Time Cop or a remake of it. If it's done well, I think it could be done very well.
Yeah, and it's a film where enough time has gone by, and it is one that I think could benefit from it's not a nobody in it is doing a tour de force performance. It's not while there may be a cult following behind it, maybe, I don't know if there actually is. I'm just saying that as a possibility. I don't know if there is, and I don't think people would be upset if it was, because it's not like the original was award-winning or groundbreaking or still relevant today or holds up today. That is, in my opinion, a grounds for a remake. Films that are like either cult classics or are award winners or groundbreaking or still hold up today, those are the ones that I'm like, you don't need to remake those. Clearly the original one is fine. You're just trying to capitalize on that original one, the success of the original one. So a remake's not needed. You're just trying to be a money-grubbing hoe at that point.
A money-grabbing hoe? That's what we're going with, is it?
I'll say money-grubbing hoe, but yeah, that works. Butterfly effect, I think, would be time travel. Yeah. No, Brian, you missed the beginning of the conversation. We're talking about time travel movies, whether they be good or bad. What are the ones you like? Which are some that make you groan? which ones are ones that deserve to be remade. You know, we're the topic. What even is a time travel movie? You know, Pex is bringing up a lot of stuff that isn't time travel, even though he's trying to defend it. It's a hill he's willing to die on some of these.
But Pex is talking out of his ass.
But oh my God, he brought up one Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal of Time. I question life now. I'm with you. I didn't know they made a sequel to Beastmaster, and the fact that it's a time travel movie. What is happening? Burp.
Shit. No, I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this at all. I'm going to take this back. You can't stop me. There we go. This is better. This is much more better. There we go. Thank you, darling. Love of my life, apple of my eye, pear of my heart, kumquat of my loins, pear of my shin, banana of my ham hock. Alright, I'm gonna hit save again. That was close. Just gotta get some shadows on this map, and I think I'm gonna then just walk away from it. I think I'm gonna call it good. Just give these hills a little bit of sense of elevation. For Shiggity. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. That's not looking too bad. Oh, but this is gonna need a little bit of love. There we go. And here. Yeesh. So Princess, a while ago, it became this little sort of stupid thing that I do with Jack, where, you know, you've heard of apple of my eye, right? Well, I started trying to come up with other sayings, basically pear fruit, two bodily part, and I'm not very good at improv, so I end up, like, just coming up with stupid freaking things, and you just got a sneak peek here on the channel tonight. Looking good, Mr. Kuso. Thank you very much. Oh, I asked for whiskey, but I'll do this one. This is okay. Oh, thank you. What was that? A kid in King Arthur's Court? Not heard of that one. What was the original? It wasn't a kid, right? Wasn't it a spaceman in King Arthur's Court or something?
Wasn't it a Yankee?
A what?
Like a Yankee, like a ball player?
Was it? I actually can't remember. I think if I've seen it, I've only seen it once. Timescape by Jeff Daniels says Beast Foolish. Jack, do you remember Timescape?
I don't think so.
I feel like there's been a whole bunch of films and shit that I've just never heard of. We get one life to live and there's such good stuff out there. Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Cheers, everyone. The name Timescape rings a bell, but that is it. Alright, a little bit more of the shadowing, a little bit more. And then I think we're going to work on the castle a little bit. Let's straighten that out.
Timescape. I'm gonna look that.
You got to do a quick search for it.
Yeah. And I did look up that one that Pex was referencing, the Beastmaster 2 Through the Portal of Time did come out in 9 years later as a sequel to Beastmaster. And Mark Singer reprised his role as Dar. Woo.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might be great. It might be a cult classic for all we know. No, it had a $6 million budget and it made about $800,000 at the box office.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
Ouch. Timescape also released on a video as Grand Tour Disaster in Time. Is a 1992 American science fiction film. Interesting. The innkeeper, played by Jeff Daniels, and his daughter, Ariana Richards, wonder why historical disaster witnesses from the future are in Ohio. Interesting. Let's see, Peck says, and so I feel like a real winner, me, and so you can tell me I lose. There is a time loop subgenre. Okay. Well, it wasn't about winning and losing. It was just about what time travel is.
It was about being correct, Pex. That's what it's about.
Okay, Alyssa is more aggressive on that than I am. And Peck says the Beastmaster 2 is a cult classic, but in the bad sense. Yes, yes, indeed. Which one are you referring to, Pex? Have you seen? Is it Beastmaster or Timescape? Which of the two are you referring to? Yes. Chuck says Pex won't be happy until we admit that all movies are time travel movies because they all move forward at 1 second per second. That is true. That is true. We are technically all time travelers. Every human being is a time traveler. We are moving forward through the path of time.
And through their own experience, they take you to different times and places.
I am a time traveler. I'm gonna put that on my resume. That's fantastic. I'm probably not gonna be asked in for a job, but because I'm pretty sure at the top of the list, I'm a time traveler.
I watch Conan the Barbarian. I'm a time traveler.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna add that bit. Then I'm gonna get escorted off by security at that point instead of just being asked out. So Beastmaster 2 was the hot garbage, but if you're drunk, it's a masterpiece, cult classic in the bad sense. Okay, cool. One of those ones you watch with some people and you're all drinking and you're heckling the screen, Mystery Science Theater style.
Yeah, and I am totally down with movies that are so bad and they know they're bad and they're awesome because of it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Strega did want to point out that the Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court is actually streaming on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
So
okay.
for those of you who want to watch the original that created that series that because they had a couple of remakes over time, Kid and King Arthur's Court being one of them. Let's see. Yeah, Pex. You watch a film like that, it's enjoyable. If you watch a film like that sober and you're on your own, not quite as enjoyable. I agree. I think that would be, yeah. Well, if you think about it, Strega, I am exiting this second in time, and I'm now traveling to this second in time, right? Right?
Time traveler.
Time traveler. I'm teasing, obviously. Beast Foolish says, nothing quite like good friends, good drinks, and watching bad movies. Exactly. I always remember very fondly on a day that Alyssa and I had some friends over and we watched the zombie film Dead Snow. We were all just drinking and having fun and hanging out, and it's a really stupid zombie movie. Most zombie movies are pretty stupid, in a good way. They're like good stupid. But it was like really bad. Like, you know, people are like, the protagonists are like accidentally chainsawing each other bad. You know, it was really silly, but it was so much fun. It was such a great afternoon.
Well, remember we watched that Indian film, the Bollywood one where it's robot. What was it, I, Robot or something?
No, it's literally just called Robot. Yeah,
Robot.
Or what the Indian word is for robot. Hold on.
And that was deliciously terrible.
Enthiran, Enthiran, or Robot, as it's known in states. Yeah, that movie, it was bad, but it was good because we were watching it with friends, and it was so silly. Oh, it was so silly. I think it was the first time we'd all collectively watched a Bollywood film too. Uh-huh. So by like the second or third time they just broke out into song and dance, we were all like, "What is happening right now?"
Oh, that was the best.
And the fact that one of the songs I remember, the female lead went through like 13 costume changes in one song, and we were like, "Wait, she's in another costume! What on earth is happening right now?" It was so fun. It was so fun. Oh, for you, Strega, you don't find that 28 Days Later holds up? I that's one of those ones that I still personally dig it.
I'm actually still I'm waiting for the zombie genre to sort of kick back in again, but I feel like it's probably been exhausted for a couple of generations. But I would love to get my hands on a really good zombie film, you know? What was it? The Train to Bhutan or something? Busan. That was a good one. I know, not maybe strictly zombies, but that was good.
No, that was totally zombies. I heard the sequel, Peninsula, not that great. I haven't seen it, obviously, because I would have seen it with you.
Oh, that's a shame.
But yeah. Resident Evil, is it being remade, or is it just a continuation? I hadn't heard it was being remade. Let's see.
My bar is very low for zombie films. I love a good zombie film, and it could be pretty damn bad, and I will still enjoy it. Yeah, but I'm not sure that Resident Evil would hold my attention unless they really sort of kicked it up a notch.
Yeah, and they are, and Strega is right. It looks like Cinema Blend and Sci-Fi Wire reporting that it is indeed going to be it's a reboot / revival. Both of those words are being reused.
Okay.
So it's basically it's breaking the original continuity of the first one, and they're basically restarting it. So it'd be interesting. I guess Robbie Amell is in it. He was a character in one of the CW shows. I think he was in the Flash. Robbie Amell, yeah.
All right.
This article came out just last month. It says it's only been 4 years since the original Resident Evil series starring Mia Jovovich concluded, but the property is already getting a cinematic reboot treatment. Robbers like Robbie Amell and Kaya Scodelario have been assembled for the new big screen take on the Resident Evil video game franchise.
Okay.
And it's announced that the new movie might be arriving a little earlier than we expected. Cool. I'd be interested to see where they go with it, because obviously the Mia Jovovich ones were not
good.
I mean, they were what they were, but they weren't like an adaptation of the game. Not really. If anything, the second one tried to do it. They tried to make that similar to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, but it didn't really work. And they tried introducing characters from the games that didn't really work. It just didn't really work. I still hate that one that we went and saw at the theater. I think it was number 5. Purely based on they go on this suicide mission because they need more ammunition, and they use all of their remaining ammunition in their guns to fight through all of the shit to get to the place. And what do? Just simply reload the guns that they used and emptied to get there, and they leave. And they don't take any extra ammo with them. They don't load up a big cart. They don't load up a big box. They don't fill a backpack of it. They just reload the guns that they used, that they emptied to get there. That's all they did. And they were doing an ammo run. It's like, you guys don't understand how this works, do you?
Well, and that was one thing that I actually liked Mila quite a bit in those movies. And I really wanted to love the movies a huge amount. But the more movies they did, the more illogical and stupid they got. It just became about these really ridiculous set pieces, almost like a zombie version of bloody Too Fast, Too Furious, It was like, yeah, it seems like that, where it's like the whole point is to go and get ammo, and they don't get ammo, they just replenish what they used to get there, and then they fuck off. And it's like, well, hold on a minute, what? And it's like no one on set, no one thought to go, what? And the whole thing got that way. Remember the plane landing on the roof and then taking off again?
Yeah, I've done that in 7 Days to Die with a gyrocopter.
Yeah, a gyrocopter, not a freaking plane.
Not a biplane, that's right. That is true. Yeah.
It all became about what ridiculous thing can we have Mila's character do next?
Right.
And that's what the franchise became,
And then they had a point where she was actually like a clone, and so like in one film there was actually like a dozen of her running around like doing things, even though they were getting all killed off. But it was like okay, now there's like a dozen Jovoviches running around. What is happening? Because she was playing a character that wasn't in any of the games, so they're like, we can do whatever we want with this character. Hello, Alex Vixen.
Hey, Alex Vixen. Ah!
We started off talking about time travel movies, and then it segued into zombie movies, and now we're talking about the Resident Evil franchise, because Strega mentioned that they're rebooting the Resident Evil franchise because the original series is done, and they're rebooting it. The matrixification of Resident Evil turned off my interest. What do you mean, the matrixification? Do you mean because, like, Agent Smith, there was like something a bajillion Agent Smiths? Is that what you mean?
Well, there was that one scene, though, too, where it was all, like, going slow-mo with the gunfights and everything, and her, like, emptying clip, reloading clips. Excuse me. Oh, I'm dying on air. Oh, no. Oh, I'm back. I'm okay. I survived.
she's saying yes to both of those. The hundreds. Oh, thank you, Alex. It's an Alice. Mia Jovovich's character's name was Alice. So the hundreds of Alices, and then the fact that they were doing these crazy, stupid slow-mo action sequences. Apparently, all of that, she was like, eh. Yeah, it and the fact that they just randomly were cherry picking weird things from I mean, I'm not saying that the video game series is good, because some of those games were really bad, and some of the plot lines were like, this is so dumb. Like, why would the bad guys be doing this? This makes no sense. So it is what it is. But the movies were like, okay, how could we take this dumb plot and make it dumber? It just was silly. So Alex says, so in the one movie there's these hundreds of Alices, in the very next movie they're all slaughtered without an issue. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it was like the beginning of was it the fourth one when you find out that she has all these clones, and it's like the beginning of the fifth one where they're like getting all taken out like willy-nilly, like as they're assaulting a complex or something, and like all of them are wiped out except for like Alice Prime, let's call her. It was so dumb. It was just like, what? I don't even know. And I don't even think we watched any after 5, right?
No, because they literally started getting too dumb.
Even for us, and we can be okay with dumb movies, but yeah, no, even we were like, yeah, Chuck's right. That's the Resident Evil games. They were trying to sell to teenage boys hot chicks and muscle dudes and pew stabby action.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because all the yeah, that's true. Because all the dudes, all the like the cops in the game were all like these really buff like dudes. Like there's the one like the good one with the big beard. He's supposed to be like the good guy, and then there's the other guy that kind of looks like Johnny Bravo, and he's the asshole. Like nobody saw that coming because he looks like Johnny Bravo. And then there's like then in the next game you play the sister of the main guy, and she's obviously the cute girl with like shorts for some reason. Like what the hell? And yeah. And then there's an attractive cop guy that's like the other player character in the game other than her, and you're like, all right, so you're either the really attractive hero dude or you're the super sexy, hero girl. Okay, what even is this game at this point? But zombies and video games, those are always good.
What was the film that you posted with Batista?
Oh, Dave Bautista, Army of the Dead. Yeah, because what you want to do in a zombie apocalypse is do a heist for cash in Vegas. What? It's so stupid. It's a zombie apocalypse. Who cares about money? Right, in Strega, representation. Yes, there were no representations of body types in the Resident Evil movies. Yeah, that's because the movies that they were doing they were basically literally just translating the games over the whole stupid, buff athletic dudes or hot slight women, and there's lots of guns, and it's all stupid. It was all dumb. Going to the games, Chuck is saying Biohazard I love. Now that was 7, right? The one with the creepy family. And the village looks good. Those are the Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8. Yeah, that was when they finally... No, City of the Dead, Strega, that came out quite a few years ago. The latest one, the Zack Snyder film, is Army of the Dead.
Jack, didn't you and I try to play the village one or something?
No, you and I played 5.
5.
Yeah.
And I know we didn't get particularly far on it.
No, that was because it was the one that introduced the fact that you could do a co-op option, because you were either playing as Chris Redfield or the female character that they introduced in that game. I don't remember her character's name. But yeah, because it was one of those things where it was almost kind of like like the early Assassin's Creeds, where it's like, okay, you're out of the cutscene, now go. Oh, and by the way, we didn't tell you this. You have to follow this exact path to escape this death scene, otherwise you're gonna die. And we didn't know. And so I think like you got up on the roof, but I got wiped out, and the game is like, oh, one of the players died, gotta restart. And then it was like, and cutscene, go. And it was like, we still don't know what we're supposed to be doing. You haven't explained anything to us, and we're being mobbed by zombies. I think we got past that first level, and we were like, yeah, I don't think this game is fun. Let's not play this. Yeah, the one we were referring to, Strega, is the trailer that just came out for it. It's called Army of the Dead. It should be coming out May of this year. Zack Snyder, written and directed, starring Dave Bautista, and I think there were some other peoples. That was the one that we were referring to.
I don't think I've seen Land of the Dead. Have we seen Land of the Dead yet, Jack?
Land of the Dead, we have. That's the one that we like, that has the Dennis Hopper's the bad guy. There's the gas station zombie attendant
I thought
guy.
that was City of the Dead.
According to this, it's Land of the Dead.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let me look up. Let me look up which one.
Yeah, that was not a good movie, but I liked it.
Oh yeah, I guess there's not a City of the Dead. There's City of the Living Dead, but that one came out in 1980.
Okay.
So yeah, the one that we keep thinking of is Land of the Dead.
Okay.
Yeah. Chuck, I don't think it's a Day of the Dead sequel, but it might take place in his same pseudo spin-off Romero alternate reality universe. Maybe. I don't know. Let me look it up. Army of the Dead. I actually liked his remake. I actually think I prefer his Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead over the original.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, Strega, we too. We're also looking forward to Army. It looks stupid, but it's zombies, so we're gonna want to watch it. Even though the premise is dumb, we're like, it's a zombie silly.
I can't resist a good zombie flick.
Pex says that the Horde, which came out in 2009, and Train to Busan are both good zombie movies. So we have seen Train to Busan. We were talking about them a bit ago. But the Horde, I've never even heard of the Horde. Oh, and good for us. That's the Army of the Dead comes out on Netflix. What's that?
What was that one that was based in China?
The Kingdom. That was a series. We were only about halfway through the first season of that. But yeah, The Kingdom. The Kingdom? I think it was The Kingdom. It's not that. Oh no, not The Kingdom, just Kingdom.
Just Kingdom. Okay.
Yeah, it's a South Korean TV series. Oh, we were watching, Space Sweepers, South Korean film. Yeah, Kingdom. It was actually really good. It was getting hard. They were introducing a lot of characters, though. That was part of the problem. I was starting to lose track of like who was where and what and all that stuff. There was easily like 15 quote unquote main characters of Kingdom. It was definitely starting to lose track. It was like they were trying to do like Walking Dead, but in a feudal medieval Korea. Strega says hopefully Army of the Dead will do enough that we get more Snyder DC movies. DC zombies. Sorry, we get a Snyder movie of DC zombies. Has the DC ever done a zombie series? I know Marvel did. Did DC ever do that? And then Chuck also says, Dawn of the Dead remake I do like, but he completely ditched the social commentary subtext. that were all consumerist zombies. Well, if you think about it, all of the Dead movies that took place after the original Night of the Living Dead all ditched the racial commentary subtext that the original Night of the Living Dead brought up. Alex Dixon, Romero and Russo both did the original Dead movie. Then each of them had their own ideas on how the series of films. Yes, that's why Romero went down the Dead series, and then Russo went down the Living Dead series. Personally, I prefer the Dead series, but the Living Dead movies that we have seen have been very entertaining. Silly and stupid, but entertaining.
No, are those the ones?
Brains.
Yes.
Yeah, with the Tar Man zombie in the first two. Yeah. I think we stopped at 2, right? Like we didn't.
That's right, because they changed the whole tone we read for the later ones.
We read the third one went seriously dark and messed up, and like it turned into like this weird like BDSM like sadomasochistic like the lead like the zombie. There was like a zombie queen, and she was like over sexualized, and we were like, what the hell? We were reading the synopsis of it, and we were like, this series went down a weird track. Chuck says DC zombies would be the Blackest Night from the Black Lantern stuff. Okay, I'm not familiar. All right, so what was the one that Peck said? The Horde. We have the Horde. 2009 horror action. It is a French horror film. A group of French policemen embark on a mission of vengeance after a colleague is killed by a notorious drug dealer. He is holed up in a condemned high-rise in the heart of a derelict and corrupt Paris neighborhood. They storm the social housing complex with intent on taking him down, but the operation is a failure when the team is captured. Suddenly, both sides are confronted by an altogether different opponent, zombies. Cops and criminals must now forge an uneasy alliance to defeat the undead. Well, so it's basically The Raid, but with zombies.
This is tickling my giblets. I'm down with that.
Let's see. Chuck says the Living Dead series is comedy, body horror, naked women's, and the Of the Dead series by Romero is trying to comment on society. Yes, I think those are correct. I think Russo wanted to go down a more tongue-in-cheek kind of not so serious tone with his, and Romero was like, no, we're trying to do stories that are reflecting things about the world. And they were like, all right, let's each go our different paths. Beast Foolish says They Live has one of the best fight scenes in a movie. I agree.
Which one was that, Jack?
The movie or the fight scene?
Actually, They Live. I'm not even sure. I'm not actually sure I've seen They Live.
That's the one with
Is that the one with the glasses?
Yeah, where Roddy Piper has the glasses that allows him to see the real world.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've actually seen that one.
Really? Oh man, we should watch it. It is one of those cult classics. It's like anybody who loves it will defend it, but it's like they know it's like a quote unquote cheesy bad movie, but it's good, and so it's great. It's fun. Yeah, we definitely. I'm actually gonna pull up our to watch list. And I'm gonna put What They Live on there. Instead of doing a search for our list, I was doing a search for They Live. Like, no, I don't need to pull up They Live. Hang on.
Yeah, so the time check that was just laid down, we're definitely a little over, but we were having a lot of fun talking, so I've just been letting it go, and I've been having fun colouring Crafty Chevalier here. But yeah, we're probably at the point, or real close to it, where we will be ending the stream shortly. Well, Pex just actually typed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's talking about the Zheng Shi, also known as the Chinese hopping vampire or hopping zombie, is a type of reanimated corpse in Chinese legends and folklore. The characters for Zheng Shi are read Jeong Shi in Cantonese, Krong Thi in Vietnamese, or Gang Si in Korean. It's also known as, who cares about pronunciation? Jesus Christ, who cares this? It is typically depicted as a stiff corpse dressed in official garments from the Qing dynasty, and it moves around by hopping with its arms outstretched. And yes, and if I'm not mistaken, it also has a piece of parchment nailed to its head in front of it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's something about it's like religious rites, like they were trying to ward off evil or something. It has something about that, but I think that they have something like a religious text nailed into their forehead, I think. It kills living creatures by absorbing their ki or life force, usually at night, while during the day it rests in a coffin or hides in dark places such as caves. Zheng Shi legends have inspired the genre of Zheng Shi films and literature in Hong Kong and East Asia. Yes, indeed. I'm not giving movie lore. I am simply reading. Skeeter's back. Hello.
Hello, Skeet.
We are tonight's been a while. We've started off on time travel movies, and now we're talking about zombie films. And somehow Pex brought up the Chinese hopping vampires, which I never knew were considered to be zombies. And now we're talking about, and I was reading out what he was saying about those guys. I never knew that they were considered to be zombies. I always thought that they were a vampire subclass. So that's it. We are talking zombies. Skeeter, since you're here, real quick, give us your, off the top of your head. They don't have to be your favorite, just whichever one's off the top of your head. Good zombie movies and bad zombie movies. Go.
While he's thinking about that, typing that up, what was a zombie movie where there was twin daughters on an island, Jack?
Hold on. Untold Stories Project is rating us with 6 people.
Hey! Untold, thank you so much. This is what we're working on right here. This is for Troll Lord Games. This is Mapping a Movie Madness Monday. This is my husband, Jack. We're talking movies. We're currently talking about zombie movies. While I am finishing up the Troll Lord Games Castle Keeper's Guide. 12 maps, all on one canvas. I think I'm gonna do a coloured background on this, and it's gonna be a great poster. And so I'm kind of just now working on the last one, and we finished this tonight, the Metropolis. But Jack, come on, the zombie movie that was on an island, and a girl dies or woman dies, and
you find out that there's a second one.
Yes, and then there's a second one. Same actress just pops back up again.
It was one of the George Romero of
it was freaking terrible.
Movies.
It was terrible.
Was it Survival of the Dead?
Princess is saying Left 4 Dead.
Definitely not Left 4 Dead. Definitely not Left 4 Dead. If I remember correctly,
it was horse riding going on.
The horse out of nowhere was so silly. Let me pull up Romero's filmography.
Like, I want to like every zombie movie ever, and this had no redeeming features.
Yeah, I think it was Survival of the Dead. Let's see. Yes, Survival of the Dead, because yes, Kathleen Monroe played Janet O'Flynn and Jane O'Flynn. Fuck off. That movie was terrible. Survival of the Dead there aren't many movies that I actually straight up say I hate. Survival of the Dead is one of the ones where I hate. Cyborg would be on a film where I hate. I have like maybe 5 movies that I hate. Cyborg's one of them. Survival of the Dead's another one. Oh, and Alex Vixen already got it. We should have read up.
Oh, okay. Alex Vixen always gets it. I should have just said, Alex Vixen, what is this movie called?
Let's see. So Skeeter had said, good zombie movie, World War Z. Bad zombie movie, Dawn of the Dead, Fight Me. And again, I have to agree with what they were saying. Which Dawn of the Dead? The original or the remake that Zack Snyder did?
Yeah, because I kind of like the remake.
The original. Okay. See, I don't know if I would say it was. I wouldn't go as far as you do and saying it's like straight up bad, but I respect that you say that, and I definitely say that the remake is far superior to the original for sure.
You know what I liked about the remake? It was a better movie, but it almost had an origins story to it, which I really liked. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you see. Well, and I know they mainly focus on the I almost said Sarah Paulson, but it's not Sarah Paulson. What's her name? The actress.
I loved watching I guess what I like watching in these movies is the decay of mankind, and that one gave it to me. You could see the decay happening. Right down to cars taking each other out as they're trying to, get away from the bedlam. And I really, really, really dug that.
Yeah. The actress I was thinking of was Sarah Polley. My apologies. Sarah Polley, you see her backstory. You see before shit goes wrong, and then you see everything start degrading and how quickly things fall apart and, everything. And then what you said, exactly. It's all good. It's all good.
And then the survival kicks in,
Right.
It's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do about this?
Oh, so Skeeter coming in. Boring, no threat. Dawn of the Dead is the zombie step ahead of Planet 9 or Plan 9 from outer space. Damn, that's harsh. I'm not gonna disagree, but I'm still gonna acknowledge that that's harsh. Strega says, my mom thought the Will Smith version of I Am Legend was about zombies. I had to educate her that it was about vampires. That's the first I've ever heard of that argument. I haven't looked into it enough to either agree or disagree with you, so I just am going to say, interesting. I never thought of it that way. I don't see it at the moment, but interesting.
I like I Am Legend.
I do too. I prefer it to the Omega Man, the Charlton Heston original, which I know isn't the original, but it was the newest one that happened before I Am Legend.
Right. What was it? Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth or something?
Yeah, I think that was the original.
Yeah.
Was Vincent Price, Last Man on Earth. But the one that happened before I Am Legend is Omega Man. And that one was fine. It was cool, but I definitely prefer I Am Legend. And yeah, and oh, good Lord, windows open.
What?
Sorry, yeah, I was. It's one of those things where sometimes I open up a window on this side of my screen, and this is my bigger screen, and that's the one that I normally have the stream running on the screen with the stream, and I have my other ones over here. So I'd opened up a window just to pull something up, and it was this giant bright light on my face. I'm like, no, I need to have it over here. Anyways, blah blah blah. And no, Strega, I'm not saying that the original is definitely not vampires. I was just wondering if the Will Smith version, I don't think that they were doing vampires in that version. But yes, the original version, and even I think the Omega Man, I think those even might have been considered to be vampires. But the Will Smith version of I Am Legend, I don't think we're trying to be vampires. But again, I'd have to look into it. So I can't make a fully committed argument to that. But aside from coming out at night, none of them seem to share any characteristics of vampirism. So I would have to look into it. Interesting theory though on the Will Smith one.
Toxic salad. Again, the names that you guys and girls come up with. Thank you so much for the follow.
Toxic salad. That's a great name,
isn't it? Toxic salad. All right, let me just dick about with this map just a wickle bit more, just to tone back some of the rocks that I've got going on here.
Skeeter says, I don't know how to duel in chat, so knives at dawn. And Beck says, as a response, he just brings a gun that happens to have a bayonet on it, so it counts. And Skeeter says, you better bring two. I love you guys. Brian McWhorter, they definitely in the Vincent Price, but Last Man on Earth, they were. I want to say I was like 15 when I saw Last Man on Earth. It's been a real long time since I've seen it, so I thought straight up it was like vampires were the antagonists in that film. Like I even think they used the word vampire.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Again, it's been a real long time since I've watched it. So they definitely were vampire-esque villains in the original for sure. I've never actually read the story that it's based on. I think the actual story was called I Am Legend, the original that it was all based off of.
Oh, really?
I think so. Let me actually look that up. Hang on. Last Man on Earth. Wow, 1964. Nice. Yeah, I definitely I need to put this on my watch list and just put an asterisk being like I need to have a rewatch list. That's what I need to do. Because there's a lot of movies I know I've seen and I've forgotten. You know. Ooh, Toxic Salad saying that their handle has been their name since 2007. Nice. That's cool that you've been able to keep it so long. I hate it that sometimes handles get taken by other people. Like you're trying to like sign up for something and it's been taken and you're like, but this is what I use. I've been using it for years.
Can you imagine the rage if he or she was registering for a gamer tag somewhere and it's like Toxic Salad, this has been taken. No.
Yeah. Like
this is
Gmail,
me.
Yeah, Gmail kicks off for the first time and you're like, I'm gonna be toxicsalad@gmail.com and it's like, this has been taken already. You'd be like, what? What do you mean? But
no one could be Toxic Salad.
I'm Toxic Salad. Let's see. Last Man on Earth, 1964 black and white post-apocalyptic science fiction horror film based on the 1954 novel I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Yeah, so the original novel was I Am Legend. Brian being a smartass. I hate it when I run into other Brian McWhorters out there. Alex Vixen is doing a. As a matter of fact, you've literally copy and pasted what I have up here. That's so crazy. I'm like, wait a minute. Alex Vixen is writing literally what I just read over here. So yes, Last Man on Earth, 1964. It is 1968, and Robert Morgan lives in a world where everyone else has been infected by a plague that has turned them into undead vampiric creatures that cannot stand sunlight, fear mirrors, and are repelled by garlic. They would kill Morgan if they could, but they are weak and unintelligent. Personally, that sounds like they're vampire spawn, not vampires.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if you had even just like 50 vampires in any city here in the US, they're going to win.
Totally right. Strega, what is Afayek? Oh, so she says Afayek. No one else has the name Angel Tarragon. That's an acronym, obviously.
And I know the acronym.
As far as I know.
As far as I know. Okay.
Whew. Hey.
Yeah, my version was going to start getting pretty saucy, I'm sure.
I was going to be like, if anyone fucking has the name. No, wait, that doesn't line up.
I think this might be a good point. I think this might be a good point to end this particular stream tonight. We've been going for close to 2 hours tonight. That's a good one. And so tomorrow night, you know what, let's do the reel of the sexiest people on the planet right here. Let's just get this going in the background, because I do want to thank my Patreon supporters, and I do want to thank you Twitch subscribers. You are all the sexiest of the sexy. Not sexy as me and Jack, but you're close, and I love you heaps because of it. So tonight we finished this bad boy right here. I'm gonna call that good. I think that Metropolis is good to go. And I actually like my coloring. I've been changing up the coloring approach on these maps, and I'm digging where I'm going with it, you know? So that's done. That leaves just the Great Castle. Period. And I'll tell you now, this is gonna go super fast. I am gonna keep noodling this groundwork quite a bit more, but we're getting there. And then what are we going to do? We have to fill these little shield areas. So I think we're going to do this tomorrow. And to give you an idea of this, I have a theme. Like, so in the top of, like, the settlements, I've got, like, wheat sheaves going on. And then I've got, at least on the hamlets, the villages, the thorps, etc., we've got something a little, well, we've got bunnies. Literally outright bunnies. And I wasn't sure what to do on these other ones, so I skipped over to the actual tower. And you can see the tower, the defensive ones are going to have shields at the top. And then something military-like at the bottom. So I've got helmets, I've got another helmet. I figured like some kind of Saxon helmet for the Martin Bailey would be appropriate. And then, of course, I've got a Roman helmet, which you guys actually saw me do on Twitch for the marching camp. The marching camp looks pretty good.
Question real quick.
Yeah.
Did you want to turn off the streaming list while you were showing this around the map?
No, because we're ending this real soon. Oh,
Okay.
shit. I'm doing all of this, like, deep dive, and you can't even see me. That's my love. That's my love for my patrons. Okay. Anyway, Jesus, Jack, thank you so much. What I'm talking about is these little corner pieces. So we've got to add corner pieces to all of these others. And I think I started getting stumped for what to do. Like, the settlements are easy. Oh, the fortifications are easy. You can see, so I'm doing a shield. And then, I don't think I've done the bottom of the Cracked Chevalier yet, but I'm going to. But it's like, what do I do for towns? Like, what is my theme for the town? So, wheat sheaf and bunnies for the Thorpe. what do we do? What is the theme for the top and bottom little emblems? So if you come up with ideas, come back tomorrow and let me know. We had a Roman shield, of course, for the marching camp. So I think I've got most of the fortifications done. I haven't got the bottom of this yet. The the bottom ones of the castles, I don't know what to do. Maybe a knight helmet? I don't want to do suits of armor. We're talking about something that's 5 pixels in height. But yeah, what is it? Crossed swords, maybe? That could be something, I guess.
Ryan McWhorter suggests either a skimo machine or a surfboard.
We could sneak a surfboard in here. But I want to get a surfboard into Frog God maps.
And Crypt of the Size Wizard, Skeeter says,
Skull.
Theme, Quiet Desperation, and then he followed up with Skull.
Always a skull.
Could do a piece of fruit based on what if there's crops there from a farm.
Fruit for the village and the hamlet could work, yeah.
Like a basket of fruit or an apple.
Yeah. That could work. Theme, a quiet place. I don't know what that means. I don't know what to draw for a quiet place.
A Quiet Place was a horror thriller film.
Oh, okay.
Starring Emily Blunt and yes.
Truck though. You know what, Skeeter? Get the fuck out. Beast Foolish. Fish. I like that.
Especially the one with the river. Especially with the river there.
I like that actually quite a bit. Hold on, let me make a note.
So a skull might be a possibility. Fruit might be a possibility. Fish for sure. Rampant hamster. Yeah.
Fish. I like the fish idea. Yeah.
But rampant hamster actually gives me an idea. Could be livestock. It could be like a cow or a bull's head or a horse. Another type of farm animal. Chicken. Eggs in a nest. Feathers. Well, I think you said feathers already.
Yeah, for the smaller settlements right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Will someone ban Crypt of the Science with it? Someone time him out. Skeeter, fuck off.
Like raptor heads? What is that?
Yeah.
Ooh, Brian Wilker said it may be a haystack.
Haystack maybe, but I've kind of got like this wheat sheaf going on, already. Yeah. So I didn't want to repeat it.
Wheat sheaf's a little more identifiable, because otherwise haystack just looks like a scraggly cube.
Holy shit, Alex Fixon did time him out. Okay.
Oh.
Alright, no, I did say it. She doesn't know who he is.
So, Alex Fixon just doomed us to lots of pain later. Skeeter, I know you can hear us now. I apologize. I am so sorry. I will not ever throw a glass of wine at you again. Please don't hurt me. It was Alex, not me.
But she did what I asked her to do, so it's on me. Alright, you know what? With that said, with Skeeter banned for 5 minutes, we banned Skeeter from the channel. Alright.
He can drive to our house and murder us. Oh my god.
Yes, he can.
So he's like, I know where you live.
With that said, I'm going to come back tomorrow. We're going to finish Crack the Chevalier here, and we're going to move on into these corner pieces. So keep the good ideas percolating. Come back tomorrow, 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And let's just continue this. If you're new to the channel tonight, by the way, you can find me on YouTube, Alyssa Phaeton Studios, Instagram, Facebook, and maybe even TikTok. I don't know, my social guy deals with all of that. Alyssa Phaeton on all of those. Consider just checking me out over there. Hit me with a follow. Cost you nothing. Very much appreciated. Alex Vixen, I love you. Skeeter in the background, love you too. Everyone, back tomorrow. Let's finish the hard work on this map, and then it'll just be about creating this crazy color background. Until then, I love you all. I'll see you on the flip side. Say goodnight, Jack.
Good night, Jack.
I knew you were going to do that. Everyone, love you. See you tomorrow.